and recording. So first of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us for the Leasing Center training. Hanover Company is dedicated to making you the best agents you can be and provide you all the tools you need to be successful when you're taking calls from the call center. Because you are all the Leasing Center front line for Hanover communities, we depend on you to provide the same customer service experience that the customer would receive when a Hanover employee themselves answers the phone. So our learning objectives for today's call include a Hanover Company overview. We'll discuss telephone skills and tips. We'll talk about pricing and quoting the market versus effective rent accurately. And then we'll talk about the scorecards and the telephone shopping report. Everyone, in case you didn't know, I do talk incredibly fast. I promise you, I was born and raised in Texas, but for whatever reason, I do talk faster, so I've been told. So if I am going too fast, don't hesitate to, let me know, and I'll slow down. So the Hanover Company, Hanover's headquarters is based in Houston, Texas. We do specialize in the development of high-quality multifamily residential properties nationwide. Founded in 1981, we have over 30 years of experience. We have an award-winning portfolio of residential mid-rise, high-rise, mixed-use, and suburban projects, and we're focused on strategic growth in major markets across the United States. So as of right now, we have communities all the way from coast to coast, from Boston down to Florida, in Texas, and all the way to the West Coast in California, from San Diego all the way up to Oakland. So we are pretty widespread. So when you're answering a call, you could be answering a call from someone in California, and then the very next call could be someone in Atlanta. So it does vary. And we've been in over 17 different markets or 17 different states. So, and that's changing. Our portfolio will expand throughout the day. So, let's talk about, looks like I expanded it a little bit. Hold on, guys. There we go. And perfect. So, the Hanover Company executives are Murray Bowden. He's our founder. Would anybody care to take a guess why Hanover is named Hanover? Any guesses? It's a pretty big shot in the dark if you do guess it. The reason Hanover is named Hanover is because Murray went to Dartmouth in Hanover, New Hampshire. So if you were to ask Murray himself what it took to be so successful in business, his response is always work hard and be nice. Our entire mission statement can be summed up in that simple statement. If you were to ask our Vice President of Property Management, Jim Fenwick, what it takes to be successful in property management, his response would be find a way to say yes. All of our site teams are constantly reminded to do the right thing, and that's really the building blocks of Hanover. Work hard, be nice, find a way to say yes, and do the right thing. They're simple building blocks, but we always feel that getting back to basics is the best way to improve. So our founder is Murray Bowden, just a really fantastic man. He is here in the corporate office in Houston. We see him frequently. Anyone who comes across him, they'll tell you the same thing. He's just one of the kindest people you'll ever meet. Our president is John Nash, and then you'll notice that you've got Brant Bowden and Jeb Bowden, who they do share the last name of Murray, and that's because they are his sons. They're the CEO and COO, just incredible businessmen. They're just so great to work with daily. And then I did already mention Jim Fenwick is the vice president of property management. He actually oversees my entire department and is the gatekeeper for anything having to do with property management. So I talked about the building blocks for our mission statement. So our mission statement is what we do, and the building blocks I was just discussing is how we do it. So let's talk about Hanover's mission statement. To provide a superior living experience at a superior value for our residents. So typically we are the most expensive or one of the most expensive communities in the submarkets we develop in. So we have to provide exceptional customer service to get the price that we demand for our communities because, of course, you get what you pay for. To establish a working environment for our employees which demands honesty, supports the dignity of the individual, encourages professionalism, nurtures innovation, and rewards achievement. So we provide training opportunities to all of our team members to encourage and empower them to promote a sense of family, as well as help them further their careers with us. We encourage feedback, going as far as administering employee engagement surveys. Not only do we do surveys with team members, we actually take the data and do something with it to improve. Just an example, we had a lot of really great feedback from the assistant managers who were the most impacted by our Entrada migration last year. And so because we had so much feedback, we're actually doing a nationwide tour and meeting with every one of the assistant managers to hear their one-on-one feedback, because it's important to hear how they're impacted and what we can do to make their life easy. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the tagline, Making Life Easy, later on in this training. The next mission statement is to develop apartment communities of the highest quality for our investors that maximize value and ensure realization of the investment objective. So we have several equity partners that have high expectations, and our primary objective is not to only meet but exceed those expectations for a maximum return on investment. We've cultivated these relationships that have turned into long-standing partnerships. We also, on the mission statement, maintain standards of conduct which guarantee a reputation in the industry of the highest regard. We have achieved and maintained a reputation within property management as being elite, not just our product, but our team members as well. To be a Hanover team member is to dress for success and represent the Hanover brand in not only word, but in deed. These principles are the very foundation of the Hanover Company. Our future rests with their full implementation. So that is our mission statement. And I went in and explained each line of the mission statement with how it affects property management specifically. Anyone have questions so far? Okay. So I talked about making life easy just a moment ago. Hanover has coined the phrase making life easy as our tagline for customer service. This means that we actually make commitments to all of our customers that assures them a superior living experience, which includes these 4 commitments. An exceptional move-in, which means we guarantee your apartment will look great and your move-in experience will be hassle-free. We guarantee a service response, that service requests that are routine will be responded to within 1 business day. In fact, most are completed the same day. We guarantee personal attention. In today's world of voicemail, email, and faceless companies, we promise that we will give you the personal attention you deserve. While we embrace technology to make things easier, we're there when you need us most. This one is really important, I feel, especially since I'm talking to Entrada's Leasing Center. Entrada has a lot of electronic ways to do business, including emailing, texting. We have Message Center that's fantastic, and it's all great for business, but we still expect personal attention, meaning a phone call, and we invite you to come to the office, things like that. Personal attention is super important for the greatest customer service experience with Hanover. And finally, the satisfaction guarantee. That is what the Making Life Easy guarantee is that we are confident you will enjoy your apartment and you will enjoy your new Hanover apartment, so much so we guarantee it. If in the first 7 days we cannot overcome your objections and make your move-in experience a better one, then we will actually release you from your contract without penalty, as long as it's within the first 7 days. I will tell you that we launched the Making Life Easy guarantee last year, and I have yet to see someone use it. We actually provide that kind of customer service because it is so important to us that the Making Life Easy guarantee, it's there as a safety net that we have yet to use, which is great. So in addition to the Making Life Easy, we've taken the Hanover commitment a step further and branded all of our communities with the name Hanover to ensure that our name means something and will be remembered for the level of service and sophistication we bring to the market. So if you go through and you're looking at all of the communities listed within Leasing Center's dashboard, you'll see Hanover Cross Street, Hanover Buckhead Village, Hanover Boulevard Place. They're all branded with the name Hanover, I believe with just the exception of 1 community. But every community that is in the pipeline that we are developing will have the name Hanover. This will only further amplify our exemplary customer service track record, and it can be seen in our online reputation, testimonials from residents and prospects, and we'll discuss those also later in the training. So the Hanover experience. Hanover Company is synonymous with luxury. Each of our communities is crafted with great care and are filled with deluxe amenities, state-of-the-art design elements, and thoroughly trained staff members. As a leasing agent with the Leasing Center for Hanover Company, you play a vital part in answering the overflow and any after-hours calls, so it's critical you provide each and every caller with an outstanding experience, no matter the day, time, or reason for their call. Again, you're the front line, so we want to provide you with all the tools you need to personify the Hanover commitments and give every caller the sense of excitement to visit a Hanover community. Every community puts great care into the customer service experience and refer to it internally as the Hanover experience. This means that every detail down to the pre-planned tour path, to how each area is designed and set up, all of those are created with consistency and a sense of Hanover culture in mind. This means if you go to Hanover Buckhead Village in Atlanta, and then you go to Hanover Northgate in Oakland, and you go to Hanover Oak Hill in Austin, you're going to have the same customer service experience. You're going to have a similar tour path, even though they are different types of communities, and you're going to get the same level of interior amenities and the design finishes. So you're going to have the custom finishes with the beautiful cabinetry and the granite or quartz countertops. I mean, everything is going to be beautiful, and the tour path is going to be the same. When you walk in, our leasing agents fly out of their seat to meet people. Our tagline is meet them at the mat. We always want the leasing agents to be at the door ready to shake their hand and take someone on tour, and always greet them with a smile. So this means also that when you walk on the tour path, you'll see the pillows are always fluffy. You're going to see the indentation of the karate chop on the top of the pillows. I mean, this is consistent in every property. We actually teach the karate chop. I think it's hilarious. And you'll also see the same wow fridge in each of our models. The theater room is going to have the same action scene on loop to give the customer an idea of how great the picture is and what our upgraded sound system allows. Even the scent on every community is consistent across the portfolio, and this all goes back to promoting the Hanover brand to give the customer a sense of quality. The quality is always in the details. Any questions so far? So reputation matters. Hanover Company wants our calls to be amazing, and we have gone to incredible lengths to provide you with all the information you need to inspire and excite every prospect that you speak with. All you need to do is use the tools that you've been given. We provide you with the details. Did you know that 82% of people have stopped doing business with the company because of bad customer service? Why does this matter? Because you are in a direct extension of Hanover. Additionally, 73% of customers say that friendly employees or customer service representatives can make them fall in love with the brand. This is why we've branded all of our communities Hanover, because people recognize that brand name. Our online reputation is a focal point for Jim, who, if you remember from our previous slide, he's the Vice President of Property Management. And we put great care not only in promoting our online reputation through surveys, reputation sites such as Yelp and Google+, social media, including Facebook and Instagram, but we also promote the online reputation internally because we give contests to the site teams. We do weekly Eat Blasts from within my department that talks about who's leading the charge with the online reputation this week. People will make important what you make important, and our online reputation is very important. So I'm stressing to you all how important our online reputation is. So leasing team members are an extension of Hanover. We encourage you not only to help us improve that online reputation, but go online and see why we're the best. You are an extension of us, and so you will affect our online reputation. We want you to see that and encourage you to do the research and look at it. Let's talk about connecting with customers on the phone. Every successful phone call has 5 elements, including greeting, qualifying, feature benefit selling, which includes visualizing, closing, and then the follow-up. So Entrada's Leasing Center dashboard is really this terrific snapshot of each community, and it's the most important tool in your toolbox. Obviously, this is what you guys work in every day, but it is such a fantastic source of information that when we train it, we actually encourage the site teams to use it when callers are intercepted by the community because it's such a great tool. There's so much information there that's available. They're also required monthly, if not more frequently, to audit the Leasing Center dashboard for accuracy so that the information is current and up to date. So we're going to talk about the 5 elements of a phone call individually. First, we'll talk about the greeting. So you're going to always answer with the name of the community, identify yourself, state something along the lines of I can help you, obtain their name at the beginning of the phone call, use their name throughout the conversation, and always have a warm and inviting attitude. So we could receive a phone call from a prospect or a resident for various reasons. They may be calling to lease an apartment or for a service request. Always answer with a smile. You can hear someone smiling through the phone. So answer with a smile And always state the name of the community. You're going to identify yourself by giving your name and stating that you can help them. And again, use their name during conversation. So, Lyndon, I'm going to use you for an example. If you were to call me at the community, and we'll use Hanover Cross Street as an example, you would call and I would say, "Thank you for calling Hanover Cross Street. My name is Nikki and I can help you." And then throughout the conversation, I'm going to say, "Yes, Lyndon, I can help you with that." "Okay, Lyndon, what time did you want to come by tomorrow?" Use the name, use it with, be careful about it because you don't want to be that creepy guy who's constantly, "So Lyndon, how did you like that apartment, Lyndon?" Just be cautious about that, but use it and use it in a way that, have a care. And this greeting is universal for all Hanover communities, so it should be used every time a call is intercepted for a Hanover community. So whether it's Hanover Cross Street, Buckhead Village, or it could be Hanover West Peachtree, no matter which one, it's going to be the same universal greeting. Any questions so far? So let's talk about qualifying. Qualifying questions, we always want to ask them for their wants and their needs. We want to ask them the reason that they're moving, the marketing source, specifically how they received our phone number. The most, I guess, prevalent answer for when someone says, "How did you hear about us?" they always say, "Oh, just driving by." Well, driving by is not how you get the phone number. So when someone says that, we do ask you to take it a step further and ask, "Oh, great, you saw our signage or you saw, our curb appeal, but how did you get the phone number?" Take it a step further because tracking our marketing sources is very important to our upper level management. So if you can get that information and be as thorough as possible, that's helpful. You also want to ask for any special needs or preferences, such as size, square footage, floor level preference, a view preference, anything like that. Any qualifying information that you can get for their unit that will help us identify and narrow down the amount of units that we're going to want to look at is very helpful. Always ask for the number of occupants as well and what kind of pets. That's part of the minimum leasing guidelines. If they have 3 persons that want to occupy a 1-bedroom, our minimum leasing guidelines doesn't allow for that. If they have pets and they have, more than 2 that, all are going to live in the apartment, then that also is not within our minimum leasing guidelines. I'm working what? And finally, the information that you're getting when you're pre-qualifying, it's critical in helping us stay within the minimum leasing guidelines per person. Not to mention, the more details you get, the more helpful it is to the site team when you submit that guest card and it goes to their dashboard. Feature benefit selling. So the Leasing Center is used as a selling tool to help build value. If someone's asking about the price, offer them specific pricing based on their desired move-in date, lease term, and needs. And we're going to go into pricing a little bit more later on in the training, because I'm going to give you information about effective pricing, revenue management pricing, just the different things that Hanover uses. You're going to want to describe the apartment features and community amenities based on their needs and use the key phrases and the colorful language that's within the Leasing Center dashboard. If something on a community needs to be beefed up, then you can absolutely send a message to Lyndon or to Morgan and they'll let us know so that we can amplify some of the training or some of the information that's on the Leasing Center. And then finally, always quote the market rent. We're again going to discuss effective pricing later on in this training because that's kind of a hot button for Hanover. So closing in a phone call is creating a sense of urgency by asking them to visit today. Always set a specific date and time for the appointment. You're going to want to check the site's calendar and never double book someone. This is critical. This happens pretty often that site teams get double booked for appointments, and it's really frustrating for the site team because, again, we promote customer service. It's one of the most important things that we promote with Hanover. So if we have someone who claims they have a 3 o'clock appointment and, I'm double booked, I already have a 3 o'clock appointment, it's really frustrating not only to the customer but to the site teams. So, the customers that walk in, whether they're prospects or residents, that's the site team and your customer. So just be sure that you're helping us promote that sense of customer service. You're going to always want to offer to provide or email them directions. And then get all of the contact information, including their phone number and email address. When you're closing someone and you're inviting them to come by, always ask them to also bring their photo ID to tour and then a credit card to secure their future home today. Following up, Once a guest card's been created in Entrada, schedule the appointment on the calendar. Again, I can't stress enough how critical it is that you check the calendar before booking that appointment so that someone doesn't get double booked. You guys are always welcome to offer additional time slots for someone who's trying to set an appointment so that we can accommodate them. If they absolutely have to have 3 o'clock, contact the site team and let them know, hey, someone wants to have an appointment. You already have this at this time. Can we reschedule them? Can you contact this other person? We want to be as accommodating as possible. But if you can't make that happen, please don't double book them. Try and get them on a later date. And then be sure to add clear and detailed notes on every guest card you submit so the site team can call the prospect and not only remind them of their upcoming appointment, but have all the details that they need. The site team uses the dashboard as their lifeline, so it acts as a sort of to-do list for them daily. The more details you provide, the better. The site team feels that it's better to have the details and not need them than to need them and not have them. Any questions so far about the 5 elements of a phone call? So phone tips. We're going to talk about how to answer a question when you may not necessarily know the answer, how to submit a maintenance request, and tips for building rapport. So when responding to callers, what if you don't know the answer? So don't say, I don't know. This will diminish your professionalism. Instead, say something along the lines of, that's a great question. I'll make sure someone follows up with you on that. If they're asking for something that's not available, avoid saying no. Remember, we always try and find a way to say yes. So instead, say something along the lines of, we may not currently have that available, but we do have something else, and offer them an alternative. If you don't have the information readily available, such as a parking policy, there is no problem with saying, I don't have access to that information, but let me find out and have a member of the management team call you back. If someone is calling upset because after hours maintenance isn't answering or they're available, you're always welcome to call the manager that's on the call log. I will tell you that I personally went through the Leasing Center dashboard for every community the week before last and looked up every single person who's listed on the site, and both the manager and maintenance supervisor are listed. So if the maintenance supervisor is just not responding, you're welcome to call the manager so that we can get something expedited on site. The last thing we want is someone who is dealing with a weather situation up where it's cold, that they don't have heat, or someone who only has one toilet to not have it be working. You know, maintenance emergencies are definitely considered emergencies and should be treated as such. So call the maintenance supervisor, and if he doesn't answer, definitely get in touch with the manager. So maintenance requests. To handle after-hours emergencies, leaving detailed notes, always obtain the contact information, and then promote the resident portal and the portal app. So if residents call in a service request that is considered an emergency that requires immediate attention during or after business hours, it is important that you consistently handle them to ensure the excellent service and help us with resident retention. You want to empower the resident to use the resident portal or the resident portal app, because then they can get that service request in faster and emergencies go to the site teams instantly. And then be sure when you're taking those maintenance requests, you get the name, phone number, both cell and home if you can, as well as the email address. Also be sure you're getting the permission to enter and the time of request so that we can track when the request is when it's issued. So if there's an emergency and it's received today at 6 p.m., but no one goes in there until tomorrow at 4 p.m., if it's an emergency, that's definitely a problem. And again, always leave detailed and professional notes for the on-site team. So building rapport, the first thing you can do is always smile when you answer the phone. Everyone can hear a smile when you answer the phone. Watch your tone and your speed. Tone is important because someone can always tell with the tone of your voice if you're annoyed or, we're interrupting your lunch or anything like that. So be careful with your tone and your speed. Again, that goes back to smiling when you're answering the phone. That's important so that people can understand your attitude. So you want to let the caller know that you're eager to help them and capable of meeting their needs while engaging in active listening. You're going to want to ask probing questions to understand what's important to them in their new home. Some things that we don't say are, we don't do that, this person that you're calling for is busy, he'll have to call you back, would you call us back? You don't ever want to use the words company policy. I mean, we do want to help them understand when there are things that fall within Hanover's company policy, but don't quote company policy. That's the quickest way to make someone upset. Don't say I don't know, or you don't care, or that it's not your fault. And then finally, don't say something like, I just got here. Can you call back in 15 to 20 minutes? Or I'm about to leave. Can you call back in the morning? Don't ever ask someone to call back. Always state that you're going to get someone to call them back. Any questions on building rapport? So historically, Hanover has built communities with the intent to lease them up and then sell them. That does remain our primary mission objective, but we do have some long-term holds that may have a different business objective. Because we have different business plans for different communities and we also have multiple equity partners, we have to be flexible in our pricing approach. This means that we offer a variety of pricing options from concessions or specials that are majority of those will happen on our lease-up communities. We offer market pricing on most stabilized communities, and we do offer yield star pricing on some of our stabilized communities. So this should look familiar to you. This is your Leasing Center dashboard. If you'll notice, there is a blue box in the middle that says effective rent prices. There's two boxes underneath that talk about 4 weeks and 8 weeks free. So the disclosure above, at the very top, in blue, gives details on the effective pricing. The green gives information on the current specials. If there is a sunset special, meaning it's expiring on a certain day, it'll state when the concession ends. Notice that both of the green boxes that give the special say the concession is given up front. The advertised price reflects net effective pricing and to call for details. This is because Hanover on our websites, while our market rent may be $1,200, but with the special is $1,200. We say on the website, on one lease term specifically, that the rent is $1,200. Do not ever quote that $1,200 and then tell them they get an additional 4 to 8 weeks free. Only quote the market pricing. Any promotions and specials listed have already been deducted from the quoting price listed, so don't add any promotions to the quoting price. Essentially, if you tell someone that has a $1,500 market rent apartment, but the special is $1,200, oh, the price is $1,200, but we're going to give you 4 weeks free. They don't distinguish the difference between, oh, your market is $1,200 or your market's $1,500. We're giving it for $1,200 and you get this. They don't distinguish the difference. So please only quote the market price, and then you can tell them what the special is, but don't quote the promotions. Remember that specials are always given up front, but we do advertise that effective pricing on the website. So what this means is our market rent is $1,500, but the effective pricing listed is $1,200. Well, that $300 difference is not given month over month over month. We actually take the $1,500 of 2 or 3 months free and give it in bulk up front over the first 2, 3, 4 months, however it's spread out within asset management. So they actually have to take their special up front now. What that means is they're welcome to self-prorate it to get that check writing rent to $1,200, but that is for them to do themselves. It's not something that we'll do for them. Any questions on effective pricing? I know that's probably the biggest question we get from Leasing Center.
Yeah, I actually just have a quick question.
Okay.
So what you're saying is, like, when we're looking through the prices, we just say that these promotions are going on, and then we just give the price that's given. We don't, like, do the math from the special that we see.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then the effective prices, they've already been deducted. So if you're looking and someone's asking for a 12-month lease term and you see, oh, well, that price dropped to, $11.45, always tell them that tell them what the market price is. If you don't know how to find the market price that's in Leasing Center, let someone know. I believe Morgan and Lyndon both can explain to you how to find it, but the market pricing should be listed there.
So essentially just when we give the price, just say, like, all this stuff is already in.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions on effective pricing? Okay. Let's talk about Yield Star pricing. So Yield Star, if you're not familiar, is a revenue management program. Now, revenue management is a tool that is mostly on our stabilized sites that maximizes value by minimizing vacancy loss. What this means is that the price may change based on your move-in date and the length of your lease. And if you look right in the center, that disclosure is given on the website. This is a snapshot directly from one of our Entrata websites. So the monthly rent will vary depending on specific amenities for that rent and the length of the lease chosen on the next step. So the move-in date is the very first box that's chosen, and that's in step 1. Step 2 gives the lease length. So you see that the price changes. It's 1868 for a 14 and 15 month lease, and then a 13 month is 1949, an 11 month is 1902. You see the price fluctuates. So revenue management, again, will minimize that vacancy loss because I'll give you an example. Let's say that 14-month lease is 1868 to move in March 27th. But if you wait to move in until April 1st, just wait 4 additional days, that price could go from 1868 to 1890. And what it does is it increases that price incrementally so that the price can change. So the vacancy loss that we're getting for those 4 days, we can recoup in the overall effective price. Additionally, what this does, if you see the pricing, it makes sense, but not a whole lot of sense. So, for example, a 13-month lease is much more expensive than an 11-month lease. So that's because what we're trying to do is help manage our lease expirations. We may have a lot of leases expiring when it's 13 months from now, but 11 months from now, we've got less. And so we're trying to drive the customer to push towards the 11-month lease so that we can help manage our lease expirations. So YieldStar is really important as well. Again, remember, YieldStar, the pricing includes the specials, but there are times when revenue management may not necessarily work for the current submarket. And so our asset management team will give a upfront special, one-time $200 or one-time $500. Again, do not quote that effective price inside the price. Quote only the rent that you see there. So, for example, this 12-month is $1656. Chances are, because this is from our YieldStar website, chances are the market rent on that is actually closer to $1920. So you don't want to quote that $1656. You're going to quote the actual market rent. Any questions on YieldStar pricing?
Yes, actually, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
So for this yield start pricing, you said this is on a Entrada website?
Mm-hmm.
So does this reflect onto the leasing center
It
dashboard as
does.
well? Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that
YieldStar is
okay.
directly integrated with Entrada, so our pricing that feeds into the website is coming from Entrada, and so it does go directly into Leasing Center.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I didn't want to have to, have the agents have to go to the website or get confused. So I just want to make sure that was accurate. So thank you so much.
No, you're totally fine. I completely understand. And this is a question we get a lot. So trying to head this off at the pass so I make sure I answer your questions beforehand. Any other questions on YieldStar? So let's put it all together. So Hanover has commitments to making life easy. Our history and the story of our founders and executives, as well as the overall experience every step of the way, we encourage you to help us promote the Hanover culture and provide a superior customer service experience. We expect this from all of our site teams, and again, you guys are an extension of our site team. So you may be employed by Entrada, again, but you're a member of the team and part of our extended Hanover family. So overall, there are some touch points that are important for each step of the phone call. So let's talk about the different areas of focus. First, there's the greeting. Is the standard Hanover greeting being used? Yes or no? And again, the Hanover standard greeting is, thank you for choosing Hanover property name. My name is Nikki and I can help you. Does the agent sound warm and interested? And did they ask for the name and use it throughout the call? Those are the most important things in the greeting. The discovery, do you ask about the wants and needs, such as is it a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom? Are there specific amenities that you want? Any additional attributes or features that you're looking for? Anything like that. Did you ask them why they're looking to move? And any additional qualifying questions, such as pets, parking needs, move-in dates, length of lease, the budget, anything like that. These are all important in the discovery so that they can be put in the notes for the site team to take. And then paint a picture. Use the Hanover Company descriptive adjectives that are on the Leasing Center dashboard to describe the amenities and the apartment finishes. Use specifics to highlight the location of the community, specifically where it may be. And then use available resources such as photos, floor plans, the qualification standards, the minimum leasing guidelines, and availability to help the prospect zero in on a specific home. Those are important in the picture painting. And then conversion and overall feel. Conversion is, did you encourage them to tour the community and did you offer directions? Those are important. I mean, they're very, very important. The conversion is how we get people in the door. And then the overall impression is, did the call feel true to Hanover standards, and was the prospect offered an experience that mirrors that of a trained Hanover professional? So really what we're saying is every single person who calls and gets the leasing center should get the same experience that they would get from me from a site community, or from the leasing girl in Boston, or the leasing girl that's in Northgate in Oakland, or from the concierge that's in Atlanta. It does not matter. Every single Hanover employee, including you guys, because you are an extension of the Hanover team, should always have the same kind of customer experience. Any additional questions?
Yes.
Ask away.
I think I would like someone to go over the market rate and effective rent rate again. I guess I'll just use a scenario to try to explain what I'm confused with. So if a caller asks us about a 6-month lease, we can pull up a 6-month lease option and it gives us the price. And we say it's $1,500. When we read it, when we press available now, click, it's that much on a 6-month lease. And then we see there's a special up top and we tell them about the special. Do we say the special has been added to that price we just quoted already?
Well, it depends. So you said that they're asking about a 6-month lease. So
Right.
you're welcome to tell them, we'll use the example in front of us, that's Buckhead Village. If you move in on this date, you can get 4 weeks free if you sign a 13-month lease. So
Okay.
are you willing to change from a 6-month to a 13-month? Are you flexible with your lease term? It's always important to use the phrase, are you flexible? If they say no, then the special, it's kind of a moot point. But if they are flexible, be sure you put that in the notes, and then you're going to still quote them the market rate.
Which is what was listed.
It's what will be listed on the Leasing Center dashboard.
Okay, so when would we ever say the effective rent price? That blue part that's up there, because I've never really used that before.
Without pulling up a true live Leasing Center dashboard to show you piece by piece, I can't really explain that to you because it doesn't show it on the screenshot there.
I see. Okay, so that's something I might just have to ask someone to go over with me then.
You may want to ask Morgan, because I believe he did the training, the one-on-one training with Elton on this.
Yeah.
If not, Morgan, you're familiar with it?
Yeah, so I am pretty familiar with it, and I'm actually going to be talking with Elton tomorrow.
Okay.
To freshen up myself on it and just make sure I'm clear on it, because making sure that we're giving you guys like the correct information. So I will send out an email either tomorrow or Friday, just to kind of clarify effective rent prices for you guys.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Perfect. And then Morgan, anything that you send out about that, would you mind sending over to me as well, so I can be sure that I know what you're communicating to them, so that if someone does call, I can say, oh, well, just in case, this is what they're being told. Um,
Yeah, yeah, of course I could do that.
Yeah, our site teams really love you guys. They find you to be unbelievably helpful. I will say that with previous companies, I've used other leasing centers, other call centers, and it has just not been the kind of experience that I've had with Entrata. So you guys are invaluable to us, and so it's important that we maintain that relationship and keep the site teams, on your side. It's so awful when we get a phone call that's been forwarded to us because the site team is so unhappy that they got this one agent that just answered the phone and they were terrible. And so it's important that we make sure you guys are not only giving the correct information, but that you've been Hanoverized. Anyone have other questions? Anyone going once, going twice? Okay, if no one has any other questions, that actually wraps up the training. It wrapped up quite a bit sooner tonight, Morgan, than we did last night. So
Yeah.
I was able to
Okay.
streamline it a little bit, and so this was really helpful, I think.
No, this was great. And thank you so much, Nikki, for really taking the time out of your day to help us and train us on the effective pricing and everything. So, for the agents that are on right now, we'll go ahead and go back. If you are working tonight, go back to available at 5 o'clock. And then in the next day or two, training will reach out to you to schedule that quiz so you can take the strategic quiz. So that's all I have.
Yeah, thank you again, Nikki. We do appreciate it. We love Hanover, so we're happy to help you guys take these calls, and thank you for the training. It's really helpful so that we can even go over the new information that you've implemented here over the people that are already strategically trained too.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll send this over. You guys, I'll actually send the PDF over to you of the PowerPoint training, and
Mhm.
then I'll send you the YouTube link once I have it loaded. So you'll have
Alrighty.
everything here before the end of the evening.
All right. Sounds great.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. You have a great night.
No problem. You too, Nikki. Bye bye.
Bye bye.